I mean, if I wanted to go and take that, could I take it?
I say no, you have to call them. As a newscaster or whatever, you might, reporter, they might ask you, okay, but if everybody in the community wanted to go, no, it's for elected officials and people who are responsible for orchestrating municipalities.
Just in case anything happens to you.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Who here? So you want to be dubbed back up?
What's that?
Is that what you're saying, just in case something happens?
Yeah.
You know, Doug, you may get run over coming out of your house. Remember, if you make the wrong move, you'll get right out.
Mr. Wrigley, that was the tower, that's all.
it. A tree could fall on you. You don't know it's a poison rabbit could bite you. You get sick.
We don't want to see what happens.
I have two quick questions. I'm running out of battery and memory here, so you're not
That's
get
good.
this on camera. There was a joint meeting between the village and the town, back in October?
Right.
At which there was an agreement to go ahead and start researching and moving forward on the building out at Salish and other issues. Right. Is anything happening on the town side of that equation? And I believe that both boards appointed liaisons. Has there been any further contact?
Well, George and Kyle were the two that were working on that.
Well, I'll tell you what I know.
Doesn't work.
Oh, there's one
Your
more.
battery's not.
Cut you off. Oh, so it doesn't matter. That's right. Okay, this is what I know as of right now. I mean, I've had discussions with Kyle, probably 6 different discussions with Kyle on this particular issue. Dave Donovan was charged with drawing up the RFP for the demolition of the building for the review of both of the wards. Dave, to my knowledge, has not done that. His question is I can't do it alone. I need some engineering input. So Sean Hoffman, one of our engineers, contacted Dave probably 2 or 3 different times. And at this particular point, I don't think there's been any draft of an RFP at all that I'm aware of. So, you know, it's like every time I see Kyle, it's what's happening with that type of thing. But I haven't seen any RFP, and my best guess is I don't think anything has been done on it.
It'd be a damn shame if the issues between the two boards are getting in the way of
That's not
other
that's
important
okay.
business.
That's not the case. I think we are so overwhelmed with things other than sewer and water. Finances, just lots of things that we're trying to keep our head above water and manage.
Well, the one thing we all know is that situation isn't going to get better by sitting there.
Yeah.
It's only going to deteriorate further.
You can exercise
Become
it.
more costly. What's that?
I say you can exercise the building.
You exorcise it?
Well, you know, it's funny.
You got a priest up there that's supposed to hold
Bill and
it.
I were working on the insurance for that particular building. There are certain things that we have responsibility for. The signage, the fencing, et cetera, even though we're ultimately responsible if somebody breaks in and breaks the law, we're still responsible. But we've checked off all those things that we need to do to keep our insurance where it needs to be, et cetera. So theoretically, that building could fall down right where it's at, and we'd be okay.
Yeah.
But intruders breaking in and all those kinds of
Well, it's
things.
the liability.
Sure.
It's another service of financial issues.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why we have insurance, but even though you don't want to see them, they get hurt.
The other question I had, just briefly, is my recollection of the county pushing the license plate reader on municipalities was that, and I raised this issue tonight with the village, is that no data was to be retained in the system. That the system basically compares what the plate readers pick up against a database. And if there's a hit, then it pops up a message to the officer who can then deal with it. Recently with the credit card skimming scam at the bank in town, the village chief indicated that, and there was a mention in the paper, that they were going back and looking at the plate reader data looking to see if they could find this person coming or going in the village. And the question was raised as to whether or not data was retained, and the chief had indicated data is retained for 90 days. So, my question to the town board is the town retaining data?
No idea.
And because, as I said at the village tonight, I can understand from a law enforcement point of view that it's a positive, that you have data you can go back to. From civil liberties point of view, not so much. I have concern about data being retained if the police are now tracking everybody who comes and goes.
But that data goes into the general database.
No, that was not the way it was explained to us.
No, but in order to have a database, you have to have data, so it may not be kept locally, but it must go into the database.
What was explained by the chief when, the village chief, when the systems were accepted, is that there is a database of known problems, people whose registration has lapsed or who maybe have a bench warrant out or whatever.
Right.
There's a database of plate numbers that are issues.
Right.
They go down the street and these cameras basically scan everything. You can have a car parked in a driveway up to the side.
Right.
If the camera can see it, it takes that number in, even if it's not a public road.
Right.
And it converts that number from optical data to text data, compares that against the database, and then if there's a hit, it pops up a hit. My question is, for the town, the same as with the village, is the town police department retaining the data as they go down the street, and they basically have every license plate that they see.
All the data.
I don't know the answer to the question.
Chief Watt was saying that they're keeping that data for 90 days before it's purged, and that the village is keeping that data.
Well, why would that be a violation of civil liberty? I mean, I'm just asking the question because...
If you have a political meeting, for instance, if you're a political party, constituted political party,
I mean, it depends.
is it really the business of any police agency to know what the membership enrollment is in that party, for instance?
And I think you're probably right. Constitutionally, you're probably right because it's an event happening in the public arena. Of course, the question becomes, what if it's not in public? What if it's a license plate that's off the road in a driveway? Or,
well, if there's a hit on it, they need to go back and arrest people or whatever. That's what it's designed for. If they're going down the road and there's a car in a driveway with known felons, then I guess they need to go back and arrest them.
And although I don't like the idea, I don't really have so much of an objection to that because it's viewed from a public vantage point. I do have a problem with that data being retained and searchable by a governmental entity. Let's say I have a woman visiting me.
We got it.
And I'm married.
I'll find out.
My girlfriend's car is in the driveway.
We'll find out. We understand.
I don't know the answer to the question.
I'll find out and I'll let you know how long it's retained. Yeah.
Doug, this issue came up years and years ago. In the intelligence business, when we were working organized crime guys, when they would have a funeral, we were down to take every one of the plates and then retain it. Bella Abzug brought a suit against the New York State Police saying we were politically spying and everything got purged. Everything. And the basis was if Joe Blow was parked his car in front of Balsamo's funeral parlor in the Bronx, the next thing you know, they have him blocked in with all these wise guys. This is almost the same as...
I see it.
What's his name again?
Carl.
Mr. Marks, I'm sorry.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll find out.
I'll find out.
But and the other thing I guess is it's probably all police departments are probably there's
got to be a control factor here in all of this.
And I understand the tendency on the part of the police, of all police, to want the data. You know, they're going to want as much as they can get.
Mexicans they're high on the priority list now.
You know, that's always the issue with civil liberties.
No, I will find out. We got it.
Okay. Well, that was easy.
Gentlemen.
Thanks for coming, folks.